Thanks for joining us today.
Hi everyone. Thanks for joining us today. This edition of Cernys Journeys virtual road trip is to, anybody know?
Connecticut.
Connecticut. That's right.
Where is Connecticut?
Let's find it on the map. Just so you guys know, if you don't have your map, go to cernysjourneys.com and you can print one. All right, let's find Connecticut.
It's right
It's
there.
really small, you're right.
Where?
So Connecticut was one of the
Where?
first, it's right down here, right here.
Well, I can't even. Right by New York.
It was one of the original colonies, the original 13 colonies.
I can't find
It was the 5th state in the U.S. in 1788. Here, Cora, let me show you your map. Jamin, show her.
Right
there. It's really small.
Right here. Where?
The capital
Right
of Connecticut is Hartford.
Right.
It borders Rhode Island,
No.
Massachusetts,
Can't find it.
New York, and the Atlantic Ocean. So a few days ago we were on the Pacific Ocean when we were talking about California. We're on the Atlantic Ocean today. Connecticut, here, let me show you. See this little, right here, this little square here.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
it.
even see a word.
It's right, well, because it's right down here. It's so small it can't fit all those letters in there.
This thing?
Yep, no,
Just color it for her, Jamie.
color it in. Connecticut's known as the Constitution State.
This is orange.
It adopted the Fundamental Orders of Connecticut in 1639, which was the first written constitution. So the name Connecticut originates from Algonquin, and it's Connecticut is what they said it was, and it meant besides the tidal rivers. So Connecticut played a key role in the Revolutionary War, which we'll talk about today, and it's actually home to the U.S. Coast Guard Academy. So that's pretty cool. A few other things about Connecticut that I think are kind of cool. It was home to the first television, the first hamburger.
Hamburger?
Yeah, I know. Guess what are we eating tonight too?
Hamburger.
Yeah, that's right. We're having some hamburgers from Connecticut. Well, they're from here, but we're going to celebrate Connecticut.
Don't want to eat hamburger.
The Polaroid camera, and also the helicopter. So that brings us to our first topic. We're going to talk about helicopters. So in September, Jamie, you want to grab the helicopter? We have one. It's definitely not the original, but it's as close to helicopter as we could get. September 14th, 1939, the VS-300 was developed and created. It was the first practical helicopter that took flight, and that was in Stratford, Connecticut. And it was designed by a Russian aviator. His name was Igor Sikorsky. So a lot of you probably heard of Sikorsky because he was pivotal in aviation, especially in helicopters. So pretty cool. So helicopters, show them how they land and take off, Jamin.
So they land. So they take off like this.
Yep.
And they land like this.
Right.
Once they hover, then they land.
Right. Right. They use their lift and thrust, which is supplied by the rotors. These are the rotors, to get enough
Speed.
enough velocity, I guess that's what they call it, to allow them to take off and land. So they take off and land vertically, as Jamin was just demonstrating. Show them some other things that a helicopter could do. It can hover. Show them how to hover. Go up a little bit more. They can hover it pretty high up. You can go higher up, Jamin, if you want. They can fly forward, fly towards. Yep, and they can go backwards. And they can go laterally too. Laterally means side to side, which is kind of cool. So obviously that was pretty neat in comparison to an airplane, is they could do all these cool maneuvers. So there you go. So our next stop is the Mystic Seaport. So we actually have been to the Mystic Seaport. And we have visited the Mystic Seaport Maritime Museum. If you go to their website, let me get that website out for you. It's mysticseaport.org. I also put it on the blog as well. So you can just go there because there's a quick link to it. But it's really cool because the Mystic Seaport is a restored 18th century whaling village. And they really were able to make this area part of maritime. And so the Mystic Seaport Maritime Museum has the largest maritime museum in the U.S. It has a collection of sailing ships and boats, and they do a lot of restoration there. One thing cool about it, and when we were there, and it's still there now, the Mayflower was there and is there.
Mayflower.
Yeah, the Mayflower.
We never went
Yes, we
to
did.
Connecticut.
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did. When?
A year and a half ago we were there.
I didn't remember that.
Yeah, but the Mayflower is one of the first boats that came over from England with the Pilgrims. So it's currently there and it's receiving a full restoration ahead of Plymouth, which is in Massachusetts, their 400th commemoration of the Pilgrims arriving at Plymouth Rock. And it's actually scheduled to arrive back in Plymouth May 21st of this year for that commemoration. So kind of cool. If you go to their website, there's a lot of really neat things that you can do virtually, such as touring, and they have a lot of different things that you can explore virtually at their website. So I would suggest you do it. It is a really neat place. I know the kids, there was a lot of hands-on things too that the kids were able to do when we were there in person. So the last thing that we're going to talk about is the Revolutionary War. So the Revolutionary War was also known as the American War of Independence. And so, do you guys know why?
No.
No, well let me tell you a little bit about it. So the Revolutionary War was from April 19th, 1775, and it went till September 3rd, 1783. And it was fought between the 13 original colonies and Great Britain. And it was in order to overthrow the British rule and establish the USA, in which it did. So Connecticut played a pivotal piece in the Revolutionary War. And what they did do is they furnished a lot of, they did have one piece of the war, a battle there, but what they really did do is furnish a lot of the supplies for the war from Connecticut. In fact, General George Washington called it the Provision State. So very, very cool. We're going to watch some videos on the Revolutionary War and learn a little bit more about that as well. So that is it on our edition of Connecticut. We hope you enjoyed it. And then tomorrow, join us again as we'll be going to another state on our road trip.
Like and subscribe.
Thumbs up, everybody. Like and subscribe. Look forward to seeing you again.
Bye.